Hey guys, are you on late
Hold on,
night
hold on,
RC
right.
here? Come on, man. Fucking kill me.
Oh, what's up, guys? What's up? Sorry for the delay here. Jeff had got a new computer, and we had run into some issues. So
Yeah.
we got everything up and running now. I hope.
Yeah, we're only a few minutes behind, so
Look,
in
we're
case
only
you guys tune in tonight.
we're only 7 minutes late, so I can't.
That's all right.
That's all right. That's all right. See, what we got in here. We have got Mr. GB
What's
Weaver
up, GB?
RC,
Buddy?
the Air Marshal. Man, some of these people need some
Yeah,
wrenches.
Marshall.
Ugh. I just tasted this new energy drink. It looked pretty, but it doesn't taste how it looks. Ugh.
That's not good.
But it's the only thing I got to drink, so I'm gonna have to chalk it up.
I hear you, man. What's up, fellas? What's been going on this week? Anybody
Wesley,
been fun?
hey, we gotta give it to Wesley, man. There's batteries for his tank. That was an awesome video. I did not know about that at all. So kudos for that. And I like how you kept getting tongue tied on the batteries. I can definitely understand that because there's so many different types. Even I get myself caught up as well.
That's right. Waking them up though, that was good. That was a good process. I've seen some guys do that with even drill batteries, man, like for drills and things like that. Wake them
Mm-hmm.
up a little bit. Yeah.
There's this company that makes Arobi, Arobi. They make like power tools, right? But there's also a company that makes RC trucks where you can use their batteries. So you pop the plastic chassis off, you plug your drill battery into it, and you you just drive it.
That's cool. All right, cool.
It's like that's why we see good by commercial site, construction site, and you see nothing getting done. They're all too busy playing RC trucks.
That's right. Hey, look, I'd like to have some of those RC trucks they've got out now, man. They look pretty fun, you know?
Yeah, I love them. Yeah, and it's like probably Ryan here. He really went off the deep end as far as his trucks, and he's loving it. Uh, I had one. I had what was it? It was a 6S, but I had it on 4S. It was the Centon, Centon,
Okay.
and anyhow, that thing would it impressed me as far as the how fast it would go, right? Because my parents, where I fly at, is mostly at my parents' house, and their front to the road is like 700, 800 feet, and cars drive by like 60 miles an hour. And so, car comes by, just gun it, and this little RC car is keeping up with these full size cars going every bit at 55, 60 miles an hour. And when I'm driving this thing, because I was just first testing it out, my dad kind of looks at me, and he's like, "Damn, son,"
That's cool. Yeah.
because he's like, "Man,
Um,
they came a long
Dave
way."
Marshall, Dave Marshall's saying my mic is really low, so I need to turn this thing up some.
Yeah, let's see if I can help you out in that department.
Got to have my executive producers, my techies, my
Man, I am just
people.
learning this as I go. Uh-oh, we got Mr. Ryan in the house. He heard us talking about trucks, so he jumped on in here. His
What's
spider
up,
senses
Ryan?
were tingling.
What's up, Ryan? We need a blue wrench him, man.
And Randy.
Let's see.
Oh, man. So it's interesting. I would have not jumped much onto it, but, because the FAA deal has been, like, kind of shoved down our throats to the FAA over the course of the past few weeks here. But, I'm curious to see how we're gonna have. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of rebels. If the FAA comes back and says, "Hey, we're not changing nothing. This is what we wrote. We're sticking to our guns," and you know, it's the law now.
Yeah, but they've got to get a lot of people to enforce this, man, and that's the problem. I mean, they can't even enforce civilian aircraft, let alone what we're trying to do, and that's going to be a lot of the problem. I don't know. it's just a lot of things that's got to be taken care of, and I just don't see how it's all gonna come down the pipe. They put out a video today on the AMA saying it could take several years to rectify this problem, and I believe that myself. It's not going to happen overnight. I think it's going to take a pretty good while to get it all straightened out. And I don't think everybody's going to like all the situations, but I definitely, along with Rich Baker and several other people, Pilot Ryan, RC Informer Chris, I think a lot of things, have got to be done. I don't want to throw drone flyers under the bus. I have a drone myself over here. But at the end of the day, we've been flying model airplanes, man, for, God, what, 80, 90 years and never had a problem until drones came out several years ago. And like Rich Baker said, you got to fly an airplane. A drone, well, we all know how that works. And an airplane, you got to keep it in field of sight. So I think there should be different stipulations, and I would abide by the stipulations, but I think they definitely need to be different. So that's just my 2 cents.
Right, and the thing about it is like you can have all the rules like you want, but how are you going to enforce them? And for those that don't know, I'm very heavily into the firearm industry, and have firearms myself, and have some that are regulated by the ATF. Now, if I'm shooting my weapon, for example, with my suppressor, a regular just cop can't come up to me and say, "Hey, let me see your paperwork," because they're not necessarily trained in that aspect. But also, it's a federal piece of paper at that point. And what I'm referring to is the actual permission slip for me to have my suppressor. So,
right.
If all this pans out the way that I'm kind of prepping for the worst, because if you prep for the worst, it can't get much worse. That type of mentality. I hope it doesn't do that. But right. I'm more curious, like, how are they going to enforce all this? Because you think about how many pilots there are. You're not going to have some officer at the field saying, "Hey, let me see your number," and then just make sure, like, nope, you went 450 feet from a line of sight. Here's your ticket.
Well, it's like we were talking about at our field this weekend, man. I think it's a lot of it. We are, where I fly, is an AMA sanctioned club, so in all honesty, we may not have any issues as of yet. On the other hand, if you are an AMA sanctioned club and you post it in AMA magazine that you're having a fly-in and you're doing this and you're doing that, well, you're basically throwing up a flag for them to come check you, or to send somebody out to check to make sure that this guy has his numbers on his planes and this guy's in compliance over here. So, it's like they were saying this past weekend, it could be a $20,000 fine if you don't have what you're supposed to have. So who knows how they might regulate it. It depends on how it comes out. If you advertise what you're doing, or if you want to have a big event or whatever, that's when these guys are going to start pointing fingers and kind of jumping down people's throat, is if they see that there's a big event somewhere. And that's kind of how I'm thinking they're going to handle it right now, And if they can ever start setting examples, it's liable to make a lot of people go, well, wait a minute, either I don't want to do this hobby, I'm out, or I'm going to comply, or I'm going to take my chances. So you got three ways to look at it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And George Watts, I see that you said that you never had anybody verify your paperwork for your suppressor. I unfortunately have. We were out shooting at my family's land, and somebody called. So they came out, saw that I had a suppressor, and it was at that point where you hit a fork in the road. Whether your constitutional rights, and you're basically going to become excuse my language, a dick to the cop, or you're going to buy by the request. And since I was with friends, and then I wanted to hang out with my friends, I didn't want to turn this into a show by any means or any stretch of the imagination. I just took out my paper and just was like, "Here you go." And he just kind of just looked it over, and all he was looking at was make sure that it said like ATF. And once it said that, he handed it right back. He didn't even look at the stamp.
That's right.
On it. So, it's but no, Ethan, none of the proposals were passed. This was just the due date to get all your comments in. I saw where Dave Marshall said there's a big push, like 50,000 people commented. So kudos to people that commented. I did myself. I had to rewrite it a few times to make it to polish it up a little bit because I'm just a blunt person when it comes to the a government overreach like this. But enough about my opinion on it. Everybody's known my opinion for
That's
the
right,
past few
and that's
weeks.
what I was telling Dave Marshall. You're right, man. They can't keep up with civilian aircraft, and they can't regulate and legislate things that should be done with civilian aircraft. Here again, and I hate to keep bringing it up, but the Kobe Bryant crash, if things would have been different and more regulations had been in place for that, that may not have happened that particular day. So you're right. They can't seem to regulate civilian aircraft, let alone why are they coming and picking on us? It is a crock of crap, and I hate to say it that way, but it is. And it's just really pitiful that they don't have better things to do than to pick on guys that fly
Mm-hmm.
model airplanes. They'd rather, mess with us than to take care of the real stuff out there. So, but kind of getting off that subject, Dustin, I'd like to just say hey to Jackson RC Aviation, Pilot Ryan, Paul Hatcher, Michael Rajka, Deuces Wild, Guniak, what's up, man? Josh Weaver. I'm reading
Mr.
off my phone in case you guys can't tell. We have it all put out. And just kind of Cody, hey, what's up, man? How are you, buddy? Going down the list here tonight. GB, of course. Tim Toutant, ECRQ, RC, EQRC.
EQ.
Yeah.
Mr. Rich Baker's in here as well.
Yes, awesome. And look, man, that video you guys put out, the one Rich did last night, great job on those plates and everything, Dustin. You knocked it out of the park, man. They look awesome, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, so it's been a long time coming as far as these plates go, and I get at least an email once a week, once every other week about when are these plates come, whether it's on the Hobby Squawk, Facebook, or RC group. So I'm finally glad that we kind of have came to the light at the end of the tunnel to be able to start getting a head count of who wants these and start making them for those guys. I had one guy actually, believe it or not, he emailed me today saying that he has had his F-14. He's in Australia, that he has not put it together in years because he knew he couldn't fly off grass, or he was too nervous to fly off grass. Excuse me, until somebody made like a kit or something like this. So that was pretty awesome. That that was awesome.
Yeah. Well, so have you decided yet what retail will be on these, so that the guys out here that might want to upgrade can know what you're going to sell these for?
So the whole kit, so that's going to include the plates, the supporting hardware, and the wooden pieces to make the I-beam, as well as the battery tray. Is going to be a $90 plus a $10 shipping.
Man, get out of here, dude. That's a steal, man. That's like giving it away. I mean, my God, for your work time, your bit, your machines to run. I mean, hey guys, if you that's a killer deal because I've seen how he does this, and I know how much the machines cost to make these parts. I know how much the bits cost because we've got a small scale operation, nowhere near what Dustin does, but I know what this stuff costs. Guys, he's giving it away at that price. Yeah, you need to jump on it if you want it for your plane, man. You need to get it.
Yeah, and I appreciate the kind words, Jeff. I'll have a few extra kits. I my shop it's lean manufacturing. I make what I'm listed to make and nothing more. And so I'm not saying that I won't make these again, but I'll basically do them like in batches.
Yes.
And however, when that next batch will be, I'm not sure, because again, it's more so to help the RC community guys. Yes, we're both getting a little bit of money, but my thing is to pay for my machines and pay for that spindle being down while it's making these things, because I'm not definitely not charging RC community what my retail rate would be if Mr. Bobby came, you know, into my door from the street type thing. But
Yeah.
Fred Barron. I just saw
Oh,
Fred.
Fred.
There he is. I just saw the name Fred, so I knew that was Mr. Barron. Thanks for joining us,
Blue
buddy.
Wrench that man. Blue Wrench that man.
Absolutely. He is blue wrenched. Uh,
No, guys, seriously, I talked to a guy a few weeks ago that owns a flow jet which cuts with water, and
hmm.
he told me just to run his machine. Yeah, that doesn't include the material or anything. Just to run his machine is $100 minimum per hour. So if Dustin's selling these things for less than $100, man, and you're getting the battery tray, you're getting all the stuff, yeah, I will be buying mine when I get an F14. That's a great deal, guys.
Yeah, and there's been some people to, we'll get off the subject here soon, but there's been some people that have kind of questioned it. So, and I've shared this video too where I'm basically trying to break my plane.
Yes.
Because if I'm putting my name out on it, and you guys know me in the RC community, you know I don't want to be that one that's labeled as something bad or negative. I want to test the crap out of it before I actually put it out there on the market. With my and Rich's name on it, because Rich's name carries more so than my name by any means of imagination. So have something that represents both of us was my priority in this. But so if you got the F14, regardless if you got our kit or kind of do your own thing, you need to do it on grass. Period. It also helps with asphalt guys for those oops landings. It's bound to happen to all of us at some point in time.
Yeah, that's right.
But more so than that, I'm hoping to get out and test those end runners, right? That I've had for what, a month and a half, 2 months now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
going from 7 pounds of thrust to right at 10 pounds, like I'm thinking it's a huge game changer. And I know Ray. There's FMS. They'll probably put out a little bit more. Still waiting for Brandon to get back, because he's over in I think Finland or Sweden. He's overseas for work, I believe.
Yeah.
So um, Michael, I do not know. I do not know. As far as Motion being able to stock these, um, retail can kind of, when you do stuff with retail like that, it can help you, but it can hurt you. But it just all depends on whether you can make that ground where it benefits both parties. But we're just kind of in the beginning stages, so I want to get through this batch first just to see how things are going. I'm keeping like an Excel sheet of everybody that has bought and paid for them, that has or pre-ordered, excuse me, with address and all that good stuff, so that I can kind of keep a organized list, so I'm not chasing emails. But
Yeah.
but if you have if you have the F14, you can either get the plates kit, which has a battery tray, or you can get the battery tray as well, by itself. That's kind of been what I've been seeing as far as people asking me. I haven't seen where people or persons asking just for the plates themselves. They're asking for either the battery tray or both.
Right.
But yeah, and for guys that don't know, I have a small machine shop that I work
Small, right?
at. It's small. It's small compared to what it used to be. It's still small.
That's just small, man. Okay.
um, yeah. So if you, what I specialize is I do prototype work. From 3D printing. Okay, once we get that design down, now let's move into actual a metal, brass, a plastic of some sort. And I'll do small production work now. I've got the capacity to actually do production work, but I haven't got to that point yet, because I just, with my workload, I just need to focus on getting what I got done first before I look at opening up new opportunities, if you will. Because I have a one-man shop and I do it outside of my primary job, which is a family business that I help my dad at and help him run. So just kind of keep that in mind. But if you have any ideas or you have something that you need made or 3D modeled up for you, or you're like, how can I make this? How can I manufacture this cheaper? Feel free to reach out to me. I help anybody that I can um, on there. But switching gears, when are you going to fly that SU-30?
Talking to me.
You the guy with the
Well,
SU-30 behind you. I
actually,
mean, my SU-30.
just just so you know, this SU-30 is waiting on my Guniac afterburners for the twin 70 millimeters. And Ray, I'm a patient man. I know you're busy. I'm glad you're busy. So
hmm
I am waiting for on someone else right now before I get because there's no need to take it out of the box yet, man. Until I can do all the work on it at one time. You know how I am, man.
I know.
If I'm gonna do something, that's just like my AL-37. I've got two schemes. I'm not probably gonna get another one because I've got two, because I've got somebody that wants me to do one for them, and again, that's gonna be a big deal as well. But so I'll probably end up getting another one. So I've only done a couple of mods on this one, which are lights and things, because I've still got to get my schemes done, man. And I've been trying to fly a little bit on the weekends, been doing my YouTube stuff, been trying to do this. And you know how it is, and have a
hmm
family too, man. It's crazy busy. So yeah, I mean that's where it's at. But I definitely want to get this thing out of the box, man, because it's a beautiful bird, and
And it's
I definitely want
big.
to check it out.
And it's big. I think even GB, like when he got his and put his together, I think he either called me or hit me up on Facebook. And he was like, "Man, this is a lot bigger than I initially thought it was going to be."
It is, man. Look, that's like Ryan and Bobby were pulling that HSD F16 out of the box, and which, of course, I'm drooling because I'm going to have one.
Go hit that buy
But
button.
it's that this bird is not far from the size of that thing, man. I mean, and I know a lot of you guys think, yeah, there's no way. I assure you, this is a big jet, guys, and if you put it up beside that HSD F16, which and this is a 90 millimeter F16, there's not going to be a lot of difference in the size because that SU is huge.
hmm
Um, so yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get it done. But I tell you, if you guys haven't checked it out, there's a video on YouTube, and the name of the guy's YouTube is 410 Productions. He doesn't have a ton of subscribers, but let me tell you something, guys. Check out his SU
Yeah, that's
third
Justin.
video. Man, let me tell you, it is an incredible. The scenery is absolutely beautiful. He flies it better than anybody I've seen fly it on YouTube. I mean, he rocks this damn thing out, guys. From low passes, I'm
hmm
talking. He touches the fins on the ground at one point with this thing, man. It's just incredible. And then the mountains behind him, the sunset. Check it out. It is one of the most beautiful videos to date I think I have seen of this plane fly. So definitely check it out. It's 410 Productions.
Yeah, that's Jeremy Salt's good friend Justin. He's actually an airline pilot.
You know
But
what?
dude, he
I
can
thought
fly.
somebody
He
was
can.
kind of in the same location where Jeremy flies.
Yeah, they're good friends, man, and they're he can fly the absolute snot out of a plane.
Yeah.
Him and Jeremy both can. But like going back
Yes.
to the, I would say this, the AL-37. They announced that they're coming out with the airliner. I was like, that's cool. Like it's an airliner. Like that's cool. I liked it a lot because of the size. I like big planes. And excuse me, let me turn my phone
And I
off.
cannot lie.
Cannot lie. But I wasn't too like, I guess, thrilled that I was like, it's an airliner. But it's new and it's cool. Lights are great. The features are great in it. But what really turned me on is the community and how much. I mean, people customize their plane, but when this plane came out, like people took it to a whole new level. Whole new
Yeah.
level. I
Well,
mean,
it's an amazing platform, man, and the fact that it's big, and the scheme that, like I said, I've got two schemes. That one of them is going to be the one that I'm going to keep, and the other one is the scheme that I'm doing for a friend that, yeah, but I can't really go there right this second. But it's going to be awesome. But yeah, these planes are just a blank canvas, man, and they're
Mm-hmm.
so easy to work with. And you know me, I love to paint, I love to detail, I love to airbrush. So yeah, it's going to be awesome, and it'll be worth the wait. I think everybody will like it definitely. I can't wait to get it done. That's the whole thing about
Right, right. There was one gentleman, and excuse me, guys, for not knowing this, so don't don't hit me up
it.
too bad. Um, it's the twin engine that has the it's like a radar dome that you it's for the Navy, I
Yes.
believe,
Yeah.
and he did that, and
Yeah.
that is really
Works.
impressive.
Works, man, and it flies.
Has he flew it? Because I hadn't
Yeah.
seen the video.
He put a
Oh,
video on YouTube. He put a video on YouTube the other day with it flying and it's moving and spinning. And yes, he flew it and landed it beautifully. Yes, he did.
oh, it's the P8. That's what it
Yes.
was. That's it. Well, and then Jeremy, he's like two engines. I want to do four
Yes.
engines with his
Yes.
tanker. That was pretty incredible.
That
And that's
is
what I'm saying.
awesome.
Like
Yeah.
this plane, as far as the customization, like um, Brendan, for example, um, he did Disney like Alaska,
Yes.
and I mean, you put the two right beside each other, you can't tell the difference. At least I can't.
Well, and that's another thing. If any of you guys haven't checked out the Hobby Squawk in the Motion RC contest in the bracket, man, if you got your planes, I love this plane. This was a awesome library to do. It's one of my most favorite, beautiful jets I've done. But in the contest with Motion RC, I put the Corsair in because a good friend of mine, Todd Brita, actually did his 90 millimeter to look like mine, and he did a great job. And he hit me up on some information on how to do some things. And Todd, it turned out beautiful, man. By the way, so I didn't want to throw an F-16 because I didn't know if Todd might throw his in there. But there's another guy that did an Arctic Camo F-16 that I've already seen on their webpage that looks amazing. But I put my Corsair in because it's just a beautiful, timeless bird. And but guys, put your planes in. You got until what is it, March I don't know, I think it's the 9th, 6th or 9th to get your planes in so that the bracket can be chosen for the people that'll go forward. Get your planes in, guys. If you've done your customizations, put them in, get them in so that we can all vote on them and have a great time with this. And hey, you might get $100 out of it, guys. So let's do it.
Absolutely. I'm trying to get the article. That way I can put it here for you guys. But yeah, and it's like with me, I haven't got into the weathering just yet. But I find myself as I see you guys, that's doing this, that it's wanting me to push myself to be like, all right, well, let's dirty this bird up. Let's do some weathering.
Yeah.
Let's cut this bird up, perfectly good bird, and you mod it to how I want to see fit. And by doing it, that's how you learn.
That's right.
But it's just getting over that fact of cutting into a brand new $500 bird.
Hey, look. You know what got me started in this, man? I mean, well, I used to paint and airbrush motorcycle helmets, gas tanks, things like that. But what got me into the airplanes is when you crash one, you know what? I mean, here we go. You gotta paint it. You gotta put it back together. You gotta glue it up. Then you gotta spackle it. You gotta sand it. So now's the time. If you're gonna do it, hey, you gotta learn at some point. And then watching Mary Boozers, man, and Papa Dots and all the things that they do to their planes, man, it just got me thinking, well, dang, I need to break out my airbrush again and start doing this kind of stuff. And that's what I did. And guys, don't be afraid of an airbrush, man. They're awesome. You just got to play with them a little bit, learn how to use them. And once you get it dialed in, you will kick yourself for not using this thing because it just a paint molecule lays on so much prettier when it goes on with an airbrush than it does a paintbrush. And that's a whole nother analogy and a reason for it. But But yeah, definitely get into it, guys, and do your thing and get your pictures posted to Hobby Squawk, man. We gotta get them out there.
Absolutely. And it's funny because remember I was talking about the SU30, so I went to the local hobby store and I was like, man, if they got one SU30 left, I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
It's right here, baby. It's right here.
Yeah. So I went to the other hobby store that's in our town, right? And I walk in, and they know me by name, and I was like, "Do you have issue 30?" And they go, "We did about 30 minutes ago." And I was like, because it's back ordered. The pits is back ordered. So I was about to travel an hour and a half one way to go pick up this pits. And I was like, "Hey, do you have the FMS pits in 1400 millimeter?" He goes, "Yes." I was like, "Awesome." But he goes, "But it's the old one. It's the white one." And my stomach just sank. I was like, "Oh, okay." Because I heard it's still a foam plane, but it's not as well put together or well thought out as the new one is. So that's the one I want, and for the same amount of money, I'd rather have the new one. So, gotta wait.
Decisions, man. That's why when I went to the hobby shop in Raleigh, the guy was like, "Well, I've got a binding fly sitting right there." I'm like, "Oh man!" And I saw his hanging in there. I was like, "Yeah, I gotta have it. I gotta have it." So
yeah. They got that.
I went ahead.
I was gonna say they got that P51 still, and that's still.
Yeah.
That's a nice bird. It's a nice size. I love the size, and it's funny. Like as you progress, like the only small plane I like UMX, is the MiG-15 and the Timber, and then like the 1200 millimeters, my P47. I sold my T28. P47 is one of my favorite birds because my grandfather, that was my second plane. It was my first World War II plane, and my grandfather helped me get it as a birthday present, and then really the A10. So it's like those two have sentimental value, but as I progress, I want bigger. I want bigger. Give me something bigger, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Well, that Mustang is just beautiful, man. I mean, it's pretty plain, and for guys that like something to start out a little smaller, that LA what was it, LA7 today? I think James put up for Motion RC on their website.
Yes.
Flying. That's a 1100 millimeter. That was a nice looking plane, man, but it looked a little squirrely on the ground. It reminded me a little bit of a Spitfire's tendencies on takeoff and torque rolls and things like that. But James did a good job painting it, and it looked like a powerhouse in the air, man. It was ripping it up, but he was doing some.
Yeah, he was. So I don't know if I should tell this story. Talking about the Spitfire, right? So I've only been into the club, or I've only been into aviation for, as far as RC, for about a year, about a year and 3-4 months. Anyhow, I'm at an AMA event. I did not know this at all. I have a Spitfire that I just got, and I've done some taxiing around and whatnot. I'm like, man, it's time to take this. I'm at the field. It's time to take this bird up. So I took it up and I landed it, and my spotter was like, "Man, that plane flies really good. Like, how many flaps you got on that thing?" And I go, "1." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "No, don't do that. Don't do that." And I was like, "Oh, sorry. Like, I didn't know." And at this point, I'd been in the hobby for about, I don't know, 6 months, and he's like, "Well, you can fly it now. Like, you're past your maiden, so you're good to go." But the overall look, he's like, "No, you don't do that."
Yeah.
But no, I remember those ground handling. Like, you got to be on the elevator. You really do.
Yes. And that rudder, man, especially with a Spitfire, because the Spitfire will torque roll on you so fast, especially the 1600 millimeter, because I have a second one now. And the first one I had, the first day I ever had it, I went to take off with it, and it came up, and when it did, it went just like this, and it broke the fuselage, man. Which luckily I was able to glue it back together, but still, I mean, it's all a learning thing, and if you don't know how to get that plane up off the ground, you will torque roll it and tear it all to pieces quickly. And then if you don't pin that tail when you get it down, it's going to nose over on you and break the prop. So, couple of things you got to really watch out for on that big Spitfire, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you've got to have all of that the elevator authority too. Like I run 100% on the elevator all times,
Yes,
and
yeah,
especially
especially
that
with
rudder.
taxi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Josh, have you cranked up that EDM machine yet? Randy, yes, they do. They bust my balls every chance I get. And hey, look, I take it in stride because when I get to that age, I'll probably be the same, probably be the same way. So
Right.
it's all good. It's all good. Oh
And
man.
just something guys to throw out there, man. I saw it on the news tonight. Y'all all pray for the people out in Nashville, man. They got rocked pretty hard last night, and I think they've already had like 25 or more people dead from tornadoes last night, guys. And that's hitting kind of close to our region, man. I mean, it ain't too far from us.
Hmm.
So, just say a prayer for those people out there, man, because some of them, have nothing right now because they
Yeah.
lost everything last night. So keep them in your prayers, guys.
Yeah. There's a gentleman that I went to school with. His name is Dustin as well, and I found him on Facebook, and we haven't talked in a while. And I hit him up on Facebook saying, "Hey man, like I know you live close to Nashville. He lives on the outskirts. I'm like, just making sure that you're okay." Because we were in band in high school and in middle school together, but you know, just regardless if we don't talk anymore, he's still my fellow man. Make sure he's all
Yeah,
right and his family. But wow,
wild weather, man.
25. So Randy's saying that 25 died and 77 are still missing.
Yeah, that's what I say, man. It
Yeah,
rocked it, and it's during the night too, so that's what.
yeah. I mean, in North Carolina, we get rocked by hurricanes. I don't want to say every season, but we can prepare for them because we see them coming. We expect them to come because that's just part of living in North Carolina. But tornadoes, man, they're dangerous because they just pop up anywhere, and
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right,
George
man.
Watch saying he had a lot of friends that live there, but they're all okay, thank goodness.
Yeah. Well, that's what I say, man. It's last couple of years ago, our lake house got flooded pretty bad, and we had to rebuild the whole. We had to tear it all out and redo it, and my wife and I did pretty much all the work ourselves, and it was hard, man. So at least we still had something there to work with. Some of these people, their houses were ripped apart last night. So scary stuff, man. We coming in some strange weather in this world, man. In case nobody's noticing, it's it's not good, man.
No, it's keeping everybody on their toes, and it's like you were talking about this last week. We had snow on a Thursday night, and then by Sunday we had what 65, 70 degree weather. I mean, you're talking about
Oh,
about like a total
yeah,
flip
we've
around.
had 4 seasons within 3 or 4 days. I mean,
Hmm.
that's how it's been working here lately.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, Dave's coming and talking about the how tail draggers, the concepts are the same, but every one of them's a little bit different, and how much
Yeah,
rudder you need is dependent on the bird. Um,
exactly. Well, it also depends on if you've got a crosswind. That day, I mean, and you already typically with a Spitfire, you've got to put in some right rudder on takeoff, especially once you get it up on the mains, you got to keep it right rudder to keep it straight until it lifts off. And then you still can't, come down on that throttle hard because if you do, it'll still torque roll on you really hard. So you kind of got to ease into everything. And if you got a crosswind, if it's coming across, towards from your left to right at that moment, you're okay. But if it's coming in a different direction, that's even harder with that plane. So ask me how I know all these things, but I have to tell you. Yeah.
oh yeah, that was the Corsair, right? that's like I guess that's going to probably be a close tie between Spitfire and Corsair as far as like the second plane, the most popular plane. I feel like because it seems like every time I go to the field, I always see a Mustang, a Corsair, or a Spitfire, or a combination of the three. But
Yeah.
when I have flew my Corsair,
Right, Fred. Very right, Fred.
I I got scared as I was coming into land because I couldn't get it to settle how like I wanted it. And so what did I do? Full throttle. I just punched it. And what did that plane do? It just rolled. It just snap rolled. Just from that torque. Because that's I think it's an 18-inch prop, four-bladed prop. I mean, it just rolled the body over like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And I got it upright, but I still belly landed it. Luckily, it wasn't much damage. It's more of I got lucky. Just scuffed it up.
Well, and that's what my Spitfire did the very first day I tried to fly it. As I went to take off with it and it started acting kind of goofy on me, I got nervous and I punched it. And when I did, man, it just did this. And when it did, it just broke the fuselage because right in front of the windshield or the cockpit of this plane is really heavy, but it's also a weak point, especially with the weight of the battery, the motor, and the front end. So yeah, it broke it in half right there. But when I went back in and fixed it, I reinforced it with more carbon fiber rod, put it back together better, and that plane flew great until I had a mishap later on down the road with somebody talking to me while I was flying that plane, and that didn't end well either. So yeah, don't talk and fly. You know, and he didn't mean to, man. He had never been around it. He got excited and he come stood beside me, and I swear, man, the whole time he's beside me, he's like in my grill, and I'm trying to fly this plane. I'm like, yeah, yeah, right, right. And I mean, I didn't want to be rude to him and say, man, back off me,
Right.
let me land this plane, because he was a friend and he was excited. And I did a maneuver, and when I did, man, I lost orientation because he was like right here, you know. And that was it. That was all she wrote. I couldn't get it back. And of course, when it hit the ground, he looked at me and said, "Did I make you crash your plane?" And I'm like, "Man, really?" I mean, but I did tell him. I said, "Look, man, just for future reference, if somebody's flying a plane, give them their space. Don't walk up and talk to them. Let them fly and land, and then you can approach and talk to them, man." But he didn't know no different, and I didn't want to hurt his feelings, you know. So
Right. Right.
this was what it was. I can replace a plane. I can't replace a friend, especially a lifelong friend. And he came out to support me and didn't know any different. So what do you do? You know, what do you do?
Right. Right. And like Guniak was saying, Ray was saying, I like to help. Well, I like to help anybody that I can. But like when I'm flying, like if I'm flying just like a standard circuit, just a kind of like a relaxing type flight, okay, sure. Like we can do like small chit chat. But if I'm like with my jets, because few of my jets, the only time the throttle comes off or lowered is when I'm coming in to land. For the whole time, it's like max throttle. You know, for those
Right.
times, like just let me be me. Let me just enjoy this. Um, but does kind of a question for everybody? Does anybody have the LX B25? B25.
Bingo.
Bingo. Because man, look, I love bombers, and I do hate that FMS stopped the B25. And right when I got word that they were going to do that, my local hobby shop that now Jeff has SU30 had one. But I'm the type of person where I don't like to buy planes that are not in production because of parts. Because I know I'm going to do something stupid and I'm going to need some parts for it. And so I waited my options out. Like, go ahead and buy this plane. And FMS in China already still had the parts. And I was going to buy, like extra wings, maybe a fuse, maybe some tail feathers. And like just kind of keep them on the side. But then I went back and they had already sold it. But the B25, I like it a lot. The LX has a huge B25, and I know I don't want to put the LX in the same category as Dynam, but it seems like you still got to work that model over more or just as much compared to other brands. Watching. I can't wait to see Dave's RC. My apologies, Dave Marshall's. Uh,
Oh.
Ooh, I know. 10 lashings.
Forgive me, Dave. Forgive me, Dave.
I'm on my hands and knees. um,
Paranoid.
of his build of the Focke-Wulf, because he likes it, and he can't wait to get it out either. But he had some issues with it. Um, so, but I haven't had a Dynam plane and I haven't had an LX plane, so I don't know how deep that pool is that I'm about to jump off into. But
You're already over your damn head now anyway. So.
yeah, I know. But it's like it's the B25, but the LX has to Hobby Life. This is the big one. I think it's like 2,000 millimeters. It has like drop a Bombay. Like it's like
yeah. But it was a sweet plane. I saw you fly it, man, and it's a pretty plane up close. Very, very scale, very nice looking. You just need to get you some of those things that make the turrets move and everything, man. Those like RC Geek was showing on his channel they've come out with. Those are pretty cool, man.
Oh yeah, they're the random like turret spinners.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Dave Marshall, he goes, dude, he's like, that video's about to come out. He's almost done editing, but he goes, that was a bitch.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, they don't call it modeling for nothing, you know? I mean, so we all do.
Some of these planes, I hear people talk about like how bad it is, and at that point, does it really turn into like you're building the plane, even though it's supposed to be like a bind and fly or like an ARF? It's supposed to just go together, some screws, throw in your receiver and go.
It's just like, I will tell you this, man. I've already started thinking about this, and it's just how my mind works. This plane right here, this SU, I mean, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I'm just OCD over stuff. I've seen this plane in person, and I've seen other E-flite planes like the F4. There's another one I've seen that a friend of ours at our field's got. The thing that kills me with the E-flite, man, and this is just my hang-up, I'm sure it doesn't bother a lot of guys. You see where this plane is white around the nose right here? Okay, all of this is white, right? Okay, I don't like to see the cells in foam. It's like, I don't know, it aggravates me. And with this E-flite jet, with the F4, especially on the flaps, places where there's white on that plane, you see the cells in the foam because it's not painted white. It's just white foam. And that aggravates me like I can't even tell you, man. If you're going to have a plane this beautiful, paint the damn foam white like they did on the airliner. It's painted white.
Mm-hmm.
Paint the damn plane white and don't show me the cells in the foam. Just my hang up. So right out of the box here, you talking about unboxing this? Well, right out of the box, man, I'm going to tape off all of this crap and I'm going to paint this white. I can't stand it. I can't stand to see the cells in the foam. So that's a given. So you asking me about unboxing it? Well, I got to do that. I got to get the afterburners in it from Ray. So it's going to be more than just taking it and putting, 8 screws in it and flying it. I don't work that way, man.
Right.
I got to have it like I want it, So just my 2 cents on that one. E-flite, paint the phone.
And to Program 26, the Seagull models, the VQ, if you're in the States, VQ is the distributor. I've got a friend of mine that has the B25, and I've been kind of nudging him because I've never built in the Jackson RC. Yes, we assemble these planes that are foam, are flying beer coolers, and you build a scratch build. But these balsa, I haven't flew a balsa plane I'm 32 in like 20 plus years.
There's one right there, baby. That's a sweet one right there. That red tail hanging right there. I built that one. That's a beautiful plane, but that's also why it doesn't get flown. Like Dave Marshall said, you tear one of those up, it hurts your feelings a lot worse than when you tear one of these up, buddy.
Oh yes, and so that's what I'm so Yeah, I call it being scared because
Yes, I'm
because
scared. I ain't gonna lie, I'm scared.
yeah, because that V25, man. I mean, by the time you put retracts in it and to buy the two
Yes,
motors, two ACs, like you're into it for at least a I think the base plane itself is over $1,000, or that's the
easy, easy. Yeah.
V24. But still, I mean, it's on up there. It is on up there. That's a lot of money flying in the air.
But it's like we were talking about that new Spitfire that I think what is it, Black Horse as with Motion RC has just come out with.
Hmm.
That's a big damn Spitfire, man. But by the time you buy the kit, you put in everything, and you do what you're supposed to, you got well over $1,000 in that plane. And if you monk it up, man, you can't hot glue it back together, but it just don't work
Hmm.
that way. And then if you don't know how to do covering and things like that, well, then you got another problem. I'm gonna tell you personally, I believe the foam planes will outlast the balsa planes hands down because you sit foam out in the sun, yeah, it's gonna gator. We all know that. You sit monocoat or any kind of covering out in the sun, it's gonna wrinkle. It's gonna do its thing too. So you know, there's I don't know. There's pitfalls with anything you have, man. But if you crash a plane with monocoat or that's been covered, I built it. I flew it about 3 times. It flies incredibly well. It's beautiful in the air. But I'm just like, man. And I will. I'll ship it right on out to you, buddy, when you're ready for it.
Heck yeah. Well, it's like we've been talking too. Is like we need to get that MiG together, right? That you kind of got screwed on.
Oh yeah, it's still in the box. Hadn't even been taken out. That's a whole kit, man. It's ready to go. Yeah, all we got to do is put the electronics in it.
Right on. I think we have to get the landing gear too. Maybe.
Well, that's what I say. It doesn't have anything electrical. It has no landing gear. It has no servos. It has nothing. But I've got an EDF. I've got an ESC.
Mm-hmm.
Got servos. So all we really need to get would be the landing gear for it, and they've actually come down in price.
Oh, really?
Um, and they're nice gear, man. I mean, considering that this is a, I think when the plane first came out, it was a $399 jet, a 90 millimeter. Even still, man, that wasn't a bad price. Now, some people have said they've had bad raps with it. Deuces hadn't had a minute's problem with his. I think GB's got this jet. He hadn't had a problem really. I think Ryan replaced a couple of servos, but other than that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, it's one of my favorites. It's a go-to for me. I talked with Mike Deuces Wild before I flew mine about CG. I dialed it right in. And Bud, I'm telling you, man, this thing flies like it's on rails once you learn how to fly it. And now they've actually come down in price, but this jet's actually got CNC machined, which we can appreciate,
Mm-hmm.
retracts and gears, man. I mean, and they're some of the nicest retracts I've seen on the market.
Yeah, and like when I first saw it, because it's different, right? That MiG being an Arctic camo, it's a different bird. I
Yeah,
was like, and that's what really piqued my interest. Uh, and then one of my good friends at the field, he is still my mentor. He got it, and he's like, man, this thing just floats. And then when I went out to your field and you brought it out and flew it, I mean, you can definitely tell that sucker just floats. Doesn't
yes,
float like an L-39, but it definitely floats, and it's definitely forgiving
very. Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, it sounds great. And when you put that afterburner in it that I got from Ray, man, it just brings it to life. But it's just a great. Look, the F-86 was my first jet, and that F-86 is a free wing, and it's I think it's an 80 millimeter actually, but this MiG CG's exactly like the F-86. So guys, if any of you fly the F-86, you know what I'm saying. We call it the sit test. If this plane has no battery in it, it sits on its rear end like this with the tail wheel off the ground. As soon as you put a battery in it, if it's in the right location and you touch the nose, that jet's going to fall over and barely sit on that nose wheel. When it does that, she's CG perfect, and that MiG is no different. It's the same CG. So any guys that fly that F-86, if you get the MiG, it'll be exactly like your F-86. You'll love it, and it flies just like the F-86, just a little bit bigger and presents better in the air. So do not be afraid
Mm-hmm.
of it. It's a beautiful jet, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I was going through my hangar, and I've got an F-18 that I haven't flown yet. And I got these planes that I
Yeah.
haven't thrown yet, and I'm honestly, just because I don't get out to the field as much as I want to anymore, I'm honestly thinking about giving them up and you just get rid of them. But what the hell are you laughing at?
I like that. Who's gonna give them up? Yeah, right. Look, man. Let me tell you something, buddy. You ain't gonna give up no flying, okay?
No, not giving up
As everybody
flying.
else, you're addicted, man.
I know I'm
You're hooked.
addicted. I don't mean like giving up the hobby, absolutely not. But I mean it's like I got this plane sitting in the middle of my old shop, and it's like it's doing nothing. Like I ain't flying, dude. It's not even finished putting together yet. Which only thing it needs is put the control rods on the rudder, but then it's good to
Hey, you
go.
know what the Petrinkic brothers would tell you? He would say, "Fly something." What the hell? What the hell?
I
Get it up in the air, man. Get it up in the air. Let's fly
know.
that thing.
I
All right?
know. I
And
know.
you need to bring that F-14 back over here, man, and let's get it out there on that field, man, and see what it's working with too. Brian would love to see that himself.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Just Tim's heading out. Thanks, Tim, for joining us. Appreciate you,
Thank you,
buddy.
Tim. Good night, man.
And yeah, like I just gotta get the time. I gotta do some button down as far as electrical goes, but other than that, like it's fine. It's ready to go. I want to maiden it at my field just because it's in a crop field, so I have like
Yeah.
more room versus those trees. Because those trees, that first
Yeah.
time I got out there, those trees were messing with me because they're so close up to you.
Oh yeah, well, you got a nice place too, man. Definitely.
Oh no,
Definitely.
it's your guys are very nice, and as far as being able to take off on the actual real runway, that
Yeah.
is cool. That is very cool.
Well, I'll tell you, man. Mr. Frank cut it this past Friday afternoon, and Sunday we were out there, man. And it was as tight as a fairway. I mean, it looked incredibly beautiful, man. We had a great time. And I told Dave Marshall that I put that 4S Smart Pack in my F-15, and
Hmm.
yes, Dave, it woke it up, man. That was awesome. All the way back, boom, flew that F-15 several times on that 4S pack, and had a great time. So definitely get the 4S guys if you get that F-15 from E-flite. You'll be glad you did.
Absolutely, I did have the F-14, or excuse me, I got F-14, the F-15, but I thought going inverted as low as I could down the runway would be a great idea. And I was looking at the nose
No,
and not my not my vertical stabs. They touched the ground. So there would end of that. But yeah, man,
yeah,
those 64 like little millimeter Boston Toss planes. I have a ball with those, especially like being at my parents' house. Yeah,
yes.
they're not my bigger 70 millimeters or 90s, but they still have their place, right, as a park flyer.
Yeah,
But
I love to have the little F-16, man, the E-flite. That looks like an awesome jet as well. Matter of
it
fact, when I
is.
was in the hobby shop buying this one, I almost bought it that day because I've seen Skip Built fly it, and
Hmm.
I've seen GB fly it and several other guys, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and I will say that to me, the F-16 is a faster bird and it's more fun because it's slippery in the air.
Yeah,
It doesn't, the F-15 has like nice glide because of the Delta style wings. I say that term
yeah.
loosely, but F-16 like that was awesome. But then again, it's like I haven't flown an F-16 that I didn't like yet. It's
Right.
just an all around fun bird, especially the high alphas.
Yeah, well, that day you flew your F-22 at our field, man. You were doing some killer work with that one. The way you had it coming in, and you had the nice high alpha with that F-22. That looked really nice as well that day with that bird.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, the that's a new talent that at that time I was learning, but at that point that's when I started going less and less to the field just because I just didn't have time for it. So I
That's
dare.
Pearl Jam. It's a hobby shop in Cary, man. It's actually closer to Dustin. It's called Hangar 18, and there's actually another hobby shop in the Raleigh area. What is it? Raleigh Hobby, Dustin.
Yeah, that's over
But
in the.
I think they're more into trucks, though, aren't they?
Well, no, they've got a decent selection as far as the aircraft go, but
Okay.
they do sell a lot of trucks there. Um, but I dare to say like they're pretty much even with each other as far as plane content. Now,
Right.
typically, like if one doesn't have it, the other one will, or vice versa, or parts, for example. So it's good. We're for me, I'm spoiled as far as having two awesome hobby shops near me.
Yeah. I'm sure. Well, that the Hangar 18 is really nice, guys. If you're anywhere around the North Carolina area, Brian Powers is the owner there, and he's got some really nice stuff. He's got a lot of his personal jets. This one being one of them, hanging in the ceiling of his
Mm-hmm.
store. He sells a lot of airplanes, helicopters, RC trucks. He sells a lot of other things, some sailboats, parts, battery connectors, batteries. I mean, he's got a really nice store over there. I was very impressed by it when I went in there.
Oh yeah, I remember walking in the first time, like right when I got into the hobby. Um, Walking in that store and just looking up and just seeing all the different types of planes and realizing like these are not E-flight planes. Because at that time
Yeah,
I didn't know free
exactly.
wing, I didn't know motion, right? I didn't know none of this stuff.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's the thing, and I'll be honest with you, man. And I told Brian, what sold me on this SU was seeing it hanging in his store and it's in all of its glory and its size, man. I mean, because videos on YouTube are great, don't get me wrong, but you cannot wrap your brain around just how big this jet is until you actually see it in person. And that's a lot like the AL-37. I mean, yeah, it does look big on videos, but even once you get it out and you got the fuselage is like this big around, again, you can't fathom how big that jet is until you've actually got it in front of you and can see it as well. So I told Brian, I said, the reason I bought this is because I got to see it firsthand. If he hadn't had it hanging in his store, I might have thought about it, but I'd probably walked out and not bought it.
right, right, yeah. Paul Hatcher, where do you reside at? Are you in North Carolina by chance?
He's in Kinston, man. He's only about
Oh,
25,
really?
30 minutes from me, yeah. And they've got a nice field in Kinston. As a matter of fact, I've been telling Paul I was going to get over there and fly with him some. Yeah, they've got a really nice field. Matter of fact, Brian that flies with us, or Baron, as you guys know him, he goes over and flies his real turbines over in Kinston with those guys sometimes. So yeah, they've got a really nice field over there.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, because I haven't made it out to a lot of fields yet. I made it out to the Holly Springs, um, Harnett County, and your field, and then my field, and Tar Heel RC, and that's pretty
But
it.
look, I'll tell you something, man. If you've never seen it, and it comes up, it's in May, and it's in Wilson. It's called Jets Over Wilson. It
Hmm.
comes up the week after Joe Nall. It's about 4 days long. I think that would be like May the what 18th through the that weekend. But anyway, it is nothing but true turbines for about 4 days, and they're taking off of asphalt, and it is one of the most awesome jet fly-ins you will ever attend and see. If you want to see some big, pretty jets, that's in Wilson, man. So yeah, that's close to you, man. So you definitely need to check it out.
Funny story. Went this past year, and guys were talking about how years previous up to that, a plane, a full size aircraft, because this is all done at an airport,
Right.
and they basically kind of shut the airport down as far as airspace goes for us to fly
Yes.
or them to fly there. Anyhow, this like crop duster comes in and lands, and all these guys with these turbines, like they're mad as hell, And they're like, he's like, one guy you can see like literally like foam coming out of his mouth because he's just like so pissed. And the guy gets out of the aircraft and he kind of looks around. Everybody goes, "So where'd I get fuel at? I'm low on fuel." And then he forgot his wallet. So somebody had his like I guess family member or something had to bring him his wallet so he can pay for his fuel so he could leave. And the whole time like they had nobody's flying, nobody's in the air because this guy's there. Oh man, they're like, yeah, it's like that happened once. But
Yeah, that's what I say, man. Any guys that can get to the Wilson thing, definitely check it out. Because like Paul Hatcher was just saying, there's jets from all over the U.S. that come there and fly, and it's about a 4-day event, and it's really big. You can bring your RVs, you can camp out. So it's definitely worth coming to if you're driving distance from Wilson, North Carolina. You definitely need to check it out, guys.
yeah, like there was a few people that showed up in semi trucks, like with a
Yeah.
canopy on the side and like dual bay as far as or 2 level semi trucks. Like
Yep.
that was awesome. That was huge, very huge.
There's some big jets that come in there, man. I mean, there's some
Mm-hmm.
nice ones, and definitely people with some big money come in there flying.
Union line. Yeah, I told the wife they had this T-38 for sale for I think it was 8,500 or maybe 7,500. And I was like, yeah, like this is I guess is a good price. Maybe it's on the high end. I don't know. As far as turbines, like this is it. Here we go. And she goes, "What if you crash?" And they, I guess it's like $7,500 down the drain. You got to put it back together. You got to fix it.
Yeah, or more.
Right.
Yeah, that's Paul Hatcher was saying that's the first in flight is what that's called, and you guys can look that up on YouTube as well. In North Carolina, first in flight, and it'll carry you some of the videos from previous fly-ins that they've had, which are really really cool. So definitely check them out.
Yeah, let's get this link up here. Yeah, Paul, if you have that link, by all means, feel free to share it with us. This is what I just got just as a quick Google search. If anyone else checks that out. But yeah, Wild Bill, yeah, it is crazy how much people spend on stuff. But then, like, you look at, people's priorities are different about how they get things. Like me, I'd rather just have a solid colored, like, t-shirt, Fruit Loom t-shirt that you get from, like, Walmart for a few bucks. And take that extra money, if you will, and spend it on stuff I really care about, like wife, child, or my hobby, or buying new tooling for my CNC mills. You know,
Yeah.
so it's it's all how you view things in it. But
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's a price range in this hobby for everybody, man. I mean, you can get into it with a decent, say, The Apprentice. Bind and fly if you've got a receiver for less than $200. If you don't have a receiver, or I mean a radio, you can get into it for the full package for $300. And then you can step on up to jets that cost $100,000, guys. It's all a matter of what your budget allows and what you want to spend and how big your are. You know what I mean? And my wallet or my ain't that big, so that's why I fly what I fly. But you know what? These right here will give you as big a rush. Well, I say as big a rush. Let me rephrase that. I've never flown a $5,000 or $6,000 turbine, so no, I can't imagine the rush because I know what these do for me. I can only imagine the pucker factor if you're flying a jet that costs that kind of money. So again, I don't know that my nerves will allow me to fly something that costs that much money, especially when I know that I can buy multiple jets of this price range for that amount of money and have a lot of fun. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like the HSD jet, beautiful jet, and I
Yes.
like it because it's big, and it is 12S, and it comes with the gyros and everything already, but it's
No,
$1,000.
it does not come with a gyro.
Oh, it
does
doesn't?
not. No, most of the guys like Ryan and a couple other guys, I think George on here, they're putting the Cortez, I believe it's Cortez or Cortex gyro, which is another couple $150 that you got to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to put the receiver in it. Then you got to buy your batteries, and then you got to put two 250 milliamp 2S packs in it. So by the time you do everything, the
Oof.
plane itself is $999. So
Right.
by the time you buy your receiver, your gyro, your batteries, I mean, you're looking at a $1,500 bird, guys. I mean, plain and simple, you know.
Yeah, and
So,
that's the thing is cause well, it just runs off of well, you have the battery pack, but don't you have a pack for your receiver as well? Isn't
well,
that
that's
normal?
what I'm saying. That what runs your control surfaces and your other electronics are two 250 milliamp 2S packs in, I guess, what they call it, series, parallel, whichever it
Right,
is.
right.
Um, so that's basically what you're running to control all of your flight surfaces and your receivers and everything. But your two 6S packs, which are your 12 cells, that just runs your fan and your ESC. So, yeah.
I
So
got
that's
you.
why I said if you buy two nice 6,000s and you buy a nice receiver and you buy a nice gyro and you buy your 250 milliamp packs, you're at $1,500. I don't give a damn how you slice it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The just give a shout out to Mr. Captain Futon
Oh,
in the
what's up,
house.
folks? On you back from the cruise, buddy? You didn't get no coronavirus, did you?
he got another virus, just not the
Oh yeah, I
coronavirus.
bet. But they got a cure for that one.
A shot in the butt.
Yeah, no kidding. That's right. That's
Oh
right.
man, he I know he was having. I saw the videos he was posting on Facebook. I knew Mr. Captain Photon was having him a good old time.
Yeah, picked him up a nice timepiece there, man. That was a nice looking Invicta you got there, buddy.
Yeah, it was. He's like a woman with shoes. And that'd be stereotypical, but he's like a woman with shoes, man. He's got a lot of watches.
No
I
doubt,
feel like
man.
every Facebook post is like bam, 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 right?
He said, "I have the virus, suckers."
He has love virus. The
Yeah,
virus.
the virus.
But yeah, I mean
Yeah.
Jackson makes an excellent point. You know, it's like it's not really about the planes, but you know his I guess his son's in the planes, so they spend time together, so that's their thing. And yeah, that's awesome to have. You know, my daughter, she's about to turn 1, and I hope that you know when she gets older that she wants to go to the shop with me. She wants to do things that I'm interested in, and being able to share those items with her and things with her. And you know when she's ready to, if she wants to fly, we'll fly. I took my dad flying at our field, and one early morning, and he just got frustrated with it. I'm like, Pop, just relax. I'm right here beside you. Like, if you get in trouble, just pass me the radio. Like, it's all good, homie. Because it was my trainer, so I was like, man, if you crashed it, like, whatever. Like, we'll just glue it back together. It's cool. It's cool.
That's like you know, I don't know how many of you guys out there have gotten the new tanks from Motion RC. I love them. Don't get me wrong, and I would love to detail one because you know that's meticulous. I love the airbrush one, Arctic camo, of course. You know I would. It would look killer. But my wife was asking me the other day. She goes, "Well, are you going to get one of those?" I said, "Well, I like it. I can appreciate it, but it's not something I got to say. Well, I got to have."
Right.
Because I'd rather have an airplane. I just would. And she said, "Well, it doesn't fly." I said, "No." But I'm gonna tell you what I did tell her, guys. And I don't know about you, Dustin, but I tell you what's got me itching, man. But I got to get better at it. These Roban helicopters, man. They are beautiful, and they're beautiful. But the
Yes.
first time I ever tried helicopters, I went out and I bought a decent sized one, and of course that didn't work out well. And ever since then, I kind of got scared to get back into them. But man, I want to learn how to fly them because these Robans are beautiful. I love the scale and the cockpit lights, and they're just awesome. And from what I understand, if you get them dialed in right, they're not that bad to fly. So I definitely would love to hear from some of you guys and your thoughts on them. I mean, I've got a simulator, and I definitely want to move up to Real Flight 9. My simulator is Real Flight 6, so it's a little archaic, but it still works. Um, but yeah, these Robans are beautiful, and like Steve Hodges and all these guys that are doing these really cool things. And Dustin, you made some parts for him,
Hmm.
for his Apache. They're just awesome helicopters. Guys are beautiful, you know.
Yeah, I bought the back when Horizon was doing like one of their sales. I bought the 230. I
Hmm.
bought myself one. I bought my dad one, thinking that maybe this will get him back into it because he saw some helis. He's like, oh, I bet that'd be cool. I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit of work to it. So I got one and flew it and had a few successful like first baits on it. But like that thing being so small, I mean, you kind of got out there a little bit, say I don't know, 75 yards or so. Like it's kind of hard to pick up the orientation when the trees are in the background. And I just realized, like, man, I was like, this isn't for me. When you have a manual that's like this thick versus
Yeah.
versus like a plane that's I don't know 8 pages long at absolute most. I was like,
Yeah.
talking about like throttle mixing. Uh,
Select pitch. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah. Well, that's
it's
what I say,
different.
man. And listening to guys that I've talked to about helicopters, if you booger one up, you might as well pull your damn wallet out and get your credit card because you got to buy a lot of parts, man. And that's the only thing. I mean, granted, we have to buy parts for these airplanes and stuff, but I don't know. I know these, and you would learn the helicopters, I'm sure, but I don't know. It just scares me, but God knows they're beautiful, man, and the scale of them and the way they take off and they fly like the big, especially like the Coast Guard
Mm-hmm.
helicopters and the bells and everything, man. They're absolutely gorgeous, man. Kudos to all you guys that can fly them. I'll tell you that.
Oh, absolutely. A friend of mine, Steve, from my birthday, came out because he asked like, "Hey, can I fly at your place?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, bring it on." And it started raining a little bit, but he went out there and did some 3D flying, and like that was freaking cool because that only time I'd seen that had been online, and now to see it in you know in real life, if you will, that heli was doing stuff that the heat like a helicopter should not be doing, but it was so darn cool, so cool.
Yeah. Well, it's like Jackson was just saying, hover, hover, hover. And Jackson, you're right, man. That's what one of my friends that flew him a lot. Matter of fact, Barron, the guy that I put up his videos, guys, Barron was national helicopter champion back, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years ago. He was national helicopter champion. He can fly the snot out of one. But he got big into jets and stuff. But it's like Jackson was saying hover, 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 and that's what he was saying. Learn to hover that bird first, and if you can do that and hold it and set it back on the ground and keep it level,
Mm-hmm.
that's key to learning to fly a helicopter. But then again, it's like Ray said, there's a lot of tinkering that goes on with these helicopters, man. And granted, we got to tinker on our airplanes and stuff sometimes, but yeah, I think the helicopters are just a lot more stuff going on too, man. So I don't know. They're beautiful though, guys. I'm telling you, they're nice. Reset button. Paul Hatcher said, "Reset, reset." Yeah. Uh huh. Damn.
Yeah, I ended up selling my dad's. He never flew it, and then a friend of mine I sold it to him because he wanted to get into helos, and I'm still into into the aircraft and advancing my skill set there. So that's kind of what I want to concentrate on. Um, but I may get back into it because after seeing what these guys are doing with these Roban helicopters, I mean,
Yeah, they're
they
sweet,
are
man.
just they're just awesome. I had so to go check out Steve Hodges' his website or excuse me YouTube. I'll get that up for you guys. But I did some work for him. I made him a hinge um, for his Apache, and the he had this. He took this picture of him flying this with the trees are changing colors, and when you look at this picture, it looks like the real deal. Like it looks like an actual real Apache. And I posted it on my Facebook page, and people couldn't, they really couldn't tell a difference. Yeah. And so, I'm trying to get this up and running real quick. Here we go.
See you, EQ.
How's it going, buddy?
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, buddy.
How you doing, Nate? Hey, give Nate a wrench, man. Nate's killing this SU, man. He's got to have him a wrench. He's got the SU with the Guniac burners on it, man.
Yeah, and so people, just to know, me and both Jeff are commenting tonight. We're still figuring this out, and as we progress, we'll be getting better.
Hopefully.
We will, man. We will.
Yeah.
So, funny story. I told Jeff, was like, hey, like you're going to need a new monitor. He calls me up like an hour later. Is like, yeah. So I got a new monitor, but I also got a computer with it.
Yeah. I got a brand new laptop, man. I'm like, dude, you make me spend more money. I bought a jet today in a computer. He's like, I just told you to buy a monitor. I'm like, yeah, but you know how that works. You go to buy one thing and you come back with more, you know?
Yes.
God,
you think that you're going to go in.
Little balsa planes you put together, you know, toss it like this, come out with one of these. I mean, you know, what do you do, man?
Yeah, you go in and think like, okay, I'm only going to spend like $50. $300 later, you walk out and your back's hurting. Uh-huh. Oh man, yes. Too funny. But I'm interested.
All right, brother, what time are we looking like?
Oh wow, it is already 10:15.
Yeah.
Dude, the night has gone by fast.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I guess we're just gonna wrap it up here.
Bledsoe may come on later, guys. Tonight, I talked with David earlier today. He said if he did anything, it would be later this evening. So if he does come on, guys, support him, hang out for him, and check him out. He's been kind enough to give us his time slot on Tuesday nights for now. So definitely check him out if he comes on later, guys. And if you do, David, thank you for letting us come on this evening, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, David, thanks again, buddy, for allowing Jeff and I to be here. Yeah, guys, go check out Bledsoe's channel. Some great content there as well. And everybody else that does these weekly chats, daily chats. You know, we got Dave Marshall on Mondays, us and Bledsoe on Dave Bledsoe on Tuesdays. You got GB Linden in the house on Wednesday.
And Josh Weaver.
That's Josh Weaver. Oh, God, how can I forget? Dude, that's like the third strike right there. That's how tired I am tonight. That is how tired I am tonight. And then on Thursdays, we've got Kenny with Hangar 51. Make sure you bring your sleeping bag, because that's the longest one.
And lunch and breakfast and all that good
stuff. Then, of course, we've got Dave's RC on Friday. We've got Pilot Ryan and Bobby on Saturday, and Mary Boozer on Sunday, and then we do it all over again. So appreciate you guys tuning in again. And hey, and by the way, let me put my I'm gonna put my email, and if Jeff, if you want to put your email here, you know, shoot us an email as far as maybe topics you want us to talk about, right? Or anything you'd like for the next show to be about. We're always, you know, interested in what you guys would like to hear, or it could be cool stories, or it could be stuff that you have done. Send us some pictures. You know, we'll highlight that. And that's pretty much all I got to say, brother.
That's right on, man. Same here, bud. I just appreciate all you guys. We had 42 in here at one point tonight, guys. 42, second week out, and we're still learning stuff. I really appreciate, guys, all the great support from you, and just coming out and saying, hey, if you don't stay but a minute, it just means a lot to me and Dustin. And we're just here doing what we love, guys, and just talking about, you know, what we all enjoy and topics of the day. So thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Take care, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.